Okay, so today we're going to be talking about unemployment and employment. This is one of the most important aspects of the economy. It's really how we see the gains of a good economy, or alternatively, the pain of a bad economy in crisis. We'll be losing jobs, we'll be losing good jobs, wages will be going down, and in a good economy, in an economy that's growing, we will find everybody's got jobs and job security feels very good, wages are going up, and job quality is improving. So this really is fundamental to how we feel as actors within an economy. Now, we've got three different statuses. You can have full-time employment, where you work all the time, part-time, where you only work part of the time, or temporary, where you work for a period of time but that finishes. Now, full-time employment is obviously should be the choice of if it's a choice. The ideal is there are jobs for full-time available for everyone, but not only do the unemployed feel the pain of a crisis, but also those in jobs will find, in full-time jobs, will find that they not only feel insecure in their jobs, so if there is a crisis, they feel the pain too, but also they feel the lack of power in their relationship with their bosses. Suddenly they will have to do what they're told, and they can't protest. They have less dignity, if you like, to say no, we can't do overtime, or no, we want better pay, and just to act as being of status. So in a crisis, it's not just the pain of the unemployed. Everyone has pain, even those full employed. Now, part-time work, maybe people are working part-time because there's not the full-time jobs, and often this is a problem because often people can't afford to have their kids, send their kids to university, and really live the lifestyle they want and be able to develop in their way, reach their self-fulfillment. So, that can be a problem if there's a crisis where we only have short part of the week where we're working. And temporary jobs are also painful and bit of a mark of the day, because in modern times we have this precarious work where we know we work for a year, but then after that we know the contract ends and we have to find another job, and that could mean we can't make long-term plans like a mortgage, borrow money from the bank to buy a house, think about having more than one kid. These are the problems of today, the fact that we're not having so many kids. Why? Because maybe there isn't the security, job security we expect. So it's a bit more dangerous to have 2, 3, 4 kids. And this is a problem for the economy in the long term. Also, we need a definition of what is employment. So, unemployment. Unemployment isn't just being without work. Because many people are without work, but maybe they're not looking for work. So they've got to be actually actively looking for work. So it's people who are without work actively looking for work. Because if you're a housewife or house husband, you're not actively looking for work, and even if there was the work available, you wouldn't do it. So the economists have to think, what is the workforce? The workforce, I don't know, is 20 million, because those are people who want jobs. If there are 5 million who don't want jobs, we can't say the workforce is 25 million. It's not. The human resources available to the economy is 20 million. So they have to, because they're active. So if we're only using 15, that's 5 million being wasted. So it's got to be that they're actively looking for employment. Otherwise, it's not available anyway to the economy. So we can't consider them part of the workforce. Now, the patterns of unemployment. We have found that there has been a lot of employment towards the third sector as the economy modernizes. We see that the third sector, the service sector, work has become much more focused on creating intellectual property. So many people don't produce products, physical products. They produce maybe marketing for products, or they may be some sort of service like programming, teaching, inventing, innovating, consultants. You know, there's so many people that work in the service sector, finance, insurance, tourism. You know, these are the jobs which really construct intellectual property, and that is, as the country develops, they go from, you know, an economy which can take things from the ground, produce wood or coal, to something, to an economy which can produce a finished product, which is the secondary sector, and then to the third sector. As they develop, they are able to really, not just produce the product, but also market the product and create from that product a brand which is worth a lot of money, like Ferrari. You know, getting the materials for a Ferrari takes a lot less of an economy, a complexity of economy, than producing the Ferrari. But what really adds value to that Ferrari is the branding of that Ferrari, makes it worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this unemployment, quite often the value of employment is in the later phases, and often the earlier phases, the getting materials from the ground and the production of the product, can be automized. Often we use machines and much less people are involved, and labour has become much cheaper because there's not so much skills involved. The know-how isn't there. So there's that change in patterns of unemployment. There's a lot more unemployed in the manufacturing now, and also in the extraction of materials, which is the first and the second sector, isn't it? The extraction of raw materials is the primary sector, the manufacturing, the secondary, and the tertiary sector is the service sector. and that is where a lot of economies are going. 80% of the economy in England or in Great Britain are services. So it's the tertiary sector, 80%. Also, female employment has changed. So there's a lot of women actively looking for jobs, which means there's more unemployment because we've had, many years ago, traditionally men worked and the women stayed at home. Now, women want to work too and need to work too. In modern life, we need to be able to afford holidays and lots and lots of things like technological things. We need, also the wife needs to go to work. So they're not just without a job, they're actively looking for a job. So there also, there's a lot of unemployment because of that. Another employment pattern is from the public sector to the market sector. There's been lots of privatisation. We used to have in Italy, telecom used to be public, Alitalia was public, the trains were public, energy was public, all public. Now they've been privatised. Why? Because they're more efficient. There's more evolution of the products and services, and people try to save money instead of wasting it because of the need for profit and survival. There's more quality, better quality, etc. So these have become more employed, more people employed in the market sector than the public sector because of that efficiency and quality and evolution, of the product, innovation. So the patterns of employment have changed in these areas particularly. Measures of unemployment. So we've got two measures that a government can use. They can count the people that are asking for a subsidy, a benefit, a financial contribution to live, and they just count that. Big problem with that is many may be saying they're unemployed, and they're not. They're just trying to get the benefit. So you might be finding it's over counted, those that are. And maybe some people don't bother with the benefits. They're too ashamed. And so that can make it inaccurate too. So that it might not be so accurate because of that. People that are ashamed and they don't ask for benefits, or, people who are asking and they're not really unemployed, they're working on the black market. Secondly, can be the labour force survey. So this is just basically taking a sample of the population to see who has a job and who is unemployed. Just maybe phoning them up or contacting them on email. And this could be a problem because there's no incentive to tell the truth. People might just lie. Maybe they're embarrassed to say they're unemployed, or maybe they're politically motivated to say they're unemployed because they're very angry at the government and, want to do harm to the government. Or maybe many people who are unemployed and homeless haven't got a phone and an email. So this can create inaccuracies for the measure of unemployment. So we've got to take the unemployment figures, with a pinch of salt. We're going to be a bit sceptical. They could be inaccurate. But these are the two methods of measuring unemployment. So now we'll get to the causes of unemployment. There can be four main causes. One of them is frictional unemployment. This is when workers leave a job and they're looking for another job. So maybe one job ends and it takes some time, or maybe they've got a job and they're just waiting for it to start. So they might have a few weeks. And in the whole country, there might be a lot of people counted as unemployed, but actually they're just enjoying their time between jobs and it's not a problem. Um, uh, but they could be down as unemployed. So this also can be a sign of a very dynamic economy. When there's a lot of jobs, people might leave jobs and think, I'll spend a bit of time on holiday, painting the house, things like that, or spend time with my kids, and I'll get a job in a few months. That's not a problem. Or even maybe they're doing a course, trying to improve themselves, or just want a better job. And that's a sign of a very dynamic economy, isn't it? Something where people are evolving and changing and improving their skills, etc. So frictional unemployment is a type of unemployment we're not so concerned with. Seasonal unemployment is a little more difficult. Some jobs, by their very nature, occur during certain periods of the year. For example, in the picture we can see Father Christmas. Obviously, someone employed as Father Christmas is only doing it for 1 month or something, maybe not even that. But we can think of other jobs like ski instructors, maybe lifeguards on the beach, maybe people working in restaurants and hotels near the beach, or just in tourism. These jobs are just there for the part of the year, and big part of the year they won't be, the people doing these jobs won't be able to do them. So this can be a problem, the seasonal nature. Think of agriculture's got lots of seasonal jobs where, certain fruits come out in the summer, maybe they need to be picked during one period of the year and another period they're not there. So that's one cause of unemployment. Cyclical unemployment is even worse. This, or more dangerous, shall we say. But it happens because we know the economy goes up and down in a kind of natural way. There should be an underlying trend up, but we do know it can go up, and then the government needs to bring it down if, we're getting inflation, and then as it goes down, we get unemployment. And that's kind of natural. As the economy slows, we're going to lose some jobs, and we call that cyclical unemployment. And here, the government's job is to try and roll its sleeves up and do something. So this occurs when there's too little demand during a recession, or maybe not during a recession, as the economy's slowing down and it's not going as fast. It's growing, but it's not growing so fast. You might find there's some cyclical unemployment. The fourth one is structural. This is very serious. This means that the structure of the economy is wrong, because maybe it needs to be updated. The jobs that people can do, the skills people have got, are not appropriate for the modern economic needs. It might be technological, it might be because we don't need secretaries anymore, and there's lots of secretaries, so there's they need to retrain or something, because we've got this structural problem. Maybe the economy is focused on manufacturing, and then, as in the picture, you see the Chinese suddenly competing very strongly with Italy, and so Italy had to become a different economy, something which focused more on quality. If you see on the right, you've got high fashion instead of just mass products, a mass market, and try to go for something innovative and higher quality. So there might be several reasons why the economy has a structural problem and needs changing, and so people need to try to change their skills maybe, and adapt to the modern world in some way, to some market conditions. Costs of unemployment. So the personal costs can be incredibly high. We've got people unemployed for 6 months. Well, that might not be a problem. 1 month is a holiday. 6 months might be a bit worrying. But it's after a year, maybe someone gets depressed and they stop feeling of the reason to get out of bed. They start feeling a bit less hopeful. The future looks bleaker. Maybe their friends are continuing going forwards in their careers, buying houses, building a family, and they're not. They feel stuck and left behind. So after 1 year, you do start having serious problems with depression, maybe. After many years, 5 years, you could have psychological problems. So there's a lot of personal costs. Your life might feel hopeless and you might feel a failure. You won't be buying that wonderful lifestyle you always wanted. The fiscal costs for unemployment is also high. I mean, the government needs to help people to eat. So then, you see in one picture, someone getting a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. It's just costing a lot of money, because if you've got a few million unemployed, they still need some sort of help to survive. Also, the government's losing tax. It's an opportunity cost. If people aren't working, they're not paying taxes. Another problem is social problems. You're going to have more crime, you're going to have more disturbances, protests, maybe problems with health, drugs. There's lots and lots of ways people can end up going down and down and end up in a really terrible place. So, and that costs the collective too, the government. The cost to the economy is the loss of possible growth. If you've got 3 million unemployed, that's a lot of human resource just to waste, just to keep at home. They want to work. They could be doing something. That's, and in that 3 million, there may be lots of potential. As you stay at home and you are unemployed, you de-skill. You lose your skills. So over time, you will find your English will go down. You will find it more and more difficult to organise yourself, to keep yourself structured and able to get out of bed in a reasonable time and be able to do things you could do. So, cost to the economy is in human resources, an enormous cost of human resources. Unemployed people, they could be developing, and some of them could end up scientists and great, great leaders and great talents in an economy, but they're not. They're being thrown away. So that is a big cost to the economy, to keep people just unemployed and out of the participation. Policies. Now, this is the important thing. So we've got cyclical unemployment is because of the cycle. So we need an expansionary fiscal or monetary policy. We've got to get the aggregate demand up, haven't we? So the cyclical unemployment is because the economy is slowing down. So maybe the government can spend more money or tax less just to get more money circulating in the economy to increase the aggregate demand. And then people will be employed. Reducing seasonal unemployment. Here, you need to increase mobility of seasonal workers. So, for example, if you're a ski instructor in Aosta, building TAV might mean that some ski instructors can find jobs in Lyon, in France. Some opportunities might be there during the summer. They can find other opportunities. So we need the infrastructure so people can go around and fill the spaces, maybe fast trains or fast building roads, that motorways can help people travel and get to opportunities. So you need to increase the mobility of seasonal workers. Some seasonal workers can find they can be ski instructors in the winter, and then they can somehow go and work on the beach as lifeguards in the summer. Or I knew one. He was working on the rivers going down mountains helping people go down mountains, or travel guides. And then in the winter they're a ski instructor. So another way could be investing in alternative employment for off-season opportunities. So maybe they could invest in tourism for the summer if they've got lots of ski resorts in the winter. So they need, the government need to organise maybe the economy to cater for what they've got to offer. Their economic competence might be skiing, they might have beautiful mountains and lots of snow, but then they've got to try build opportunities, build a part of the economy where people can be employed in the summer. So they need to invest money for that reason. Also providing information for off-season employment possibilities. So here you can see in the picture a job centre. In England we have job centres where you can go to try to find out information. And maybe there might be information for work you can do when your skiing's finished. And that's important, providing information. So the government could do that. They can have a policy of trying to get the information from employers that need people and give it to the employees of seasonal work that need jobs during off-season periods. That can also be for frictional unemployment, could be again providing information or just increasing mobility, but also training, for reducing frictional unemployment, maybe some schemes like English some English lessons might help people change quicker, might find frictional unemployment goes down if they've got certain skills that are really important. I mean, if there's a lot of contact needed with Germany, by improving people's German. Apparently German is quite a sought after skill for employers at the moment. So courses on that might help people find jobs quicker if they're unemployed, they're just between jobs. Okay, so reducing structural unemployment. This is the serious one that's very damaging to the economy. So this is when, if we remember, this is when the structure of the economy is wrong for the modern day. Maybe they need to reform education. The government could reform education. We've seen that in Italy. They brought a lot of economics into the licei. They brought a lot of English into the licei, and that's helped give the skills that the modern economy needs. Providing training for unemployed. There might be lots of jobs lost because of evolution of the economy. An example are banks, which don't need cashiers so many. They don't need so many cashiers because lots of people are able to manage their banking at home on the internet, and that means these cashiers aren't able to offer the skills they've got, so they need training. So by the government providing training for something a bit more useful and in need, will help them adapt. Another good idea is employing long-term unemployed in the public services. A lot of the long-term, 10 years unemployed, these people have lost hope. Maybe they've got no confidence. They've lost their self-esteem. 1 or 2 years working in the public service could transform them. At the beginning, they might not be so useful because of their de-skilled state and the state of their mental state. But after 1 or 2 years, they could transform. So that could be an option. Investment in infant industries. If the economy has structural problems, they may need to start small industries of more modern businesses, of businesses which produce things that we want in the modern world. For example, electric cars. There might be an infant industry of electric cars that if a government could invest in, it could protect from the foreign competition until it's big enough to compete. And this will offer jobs in something more modern. So the structure of the economy will change. Another good idea would be to offer grants to open businesses. So to change the structure of the economy, you might need to start small businesses, lots of small businesses which are more adapted to the modern world. And the government can say, if you've got the skills and a plan and you can show us what you're doing, and then we will invest 10,000, we will offer a grant of 10,000, and maybe in this way you can open a workshop and, buy the equipment, the raw materials, and produce drones or whatever you want to produce. And then that could grow. You start 10,000 of these small businesses, maybe 3 or 4 become the size of Fiat, and that's well worth it, even if the rest fail. So, this would be a way of changing the structure of the economy, so they've got the employment opportunities which the modern world needs.